It's dinner time, goddesses, and what do we want? Comfort food, right? It's cold outside, we want something cozy and warm, but we want real comfort food because we know a lot of people associate comfort food with high fat and sugar. That's not comfort food of the goddesses. Real comfort food of the goddesses is food that makes you cozy when you eat it and gives you the comfort of knowing that after you eat it, it's not going to be tipping the scales. That's right. You're going to eat like a goddess and look like a goddess. And so today we are making chili of the goddesses. What I love about this recipe is it's also super flexible. I mean, you can follow this recipe word for word if you want, or you can go on your own separate path. Keep that in mind. All these ingredients are not set in stone. So if you put in a little too much of one spice, or you don't have another one, or you bought the wrong type of pepper, throw it in. It's gonna be fabulous, okay? Because you're a goddess. So our first step is we're gonna chop our garlic, our green peppers, our onions. I use 2 green peppers and 2 onions just because I really like my chili chock full of vegetables, especially because these things have so many antioxidants and cancer fighting everything, and they're just wonderful. So our first step is we're going to peel and mince about 4 cloves of garlic. And mincing is basically just chopping them into really teeny tiny squares. Okay? And again, don't get intimidated by this process. I've been to Italy, and the way they mince, it's just haphazard. Sometimes you'll get a big old chunk of garlic in there, and nobody's complaining because garlic's amazing. Okay? If you happen to have a big fancy knife, these do kind of help because you can just do that little trick that you always see on television where you're like, you just take your other hand and put it on top of the part that is not sharp. I repeat, not sharp. Then you lay it down and you just kind of use it as leverage. And then you use this hand with the handle and you just kind of wheel it around, you know, like a pivot point. So this is your pivot point and this is your little wheel. Up and down, up and down. Now you're a master chef. All right, now here's a fun fact. The more you chop garlic, the more it releases these antioxidant properties, which helps you, when you consume it, consume those antioxidant properties. So chop away. We just popped open our green pepper and we're just going to get the seeds out. And remember, water is your best friend when it comes to getting the seeds out. Just rinse these parts off instead of trying to pick the seeds out. That's a little goddess trick. So then once we have the seeds out, we're just going to dice them. Now, if you like spicy food, by the way, spicy food does increase your metabolism. You can grab some fresh jalapenos and slice them up right now as well. What you need to do though is get a fork and a knife. Do not touch the jalapenos directly because they have this little bit of oil on the outside of their skin, and that hotness can transfer into your skin, and then anything you touch will start to burn. So even though it's delicious when we have it in our tummies and on our tongues, it's not really as much fun when you need to, say, take out your contact lens and your eye is on fire. Okay? So just slice the little jalapeno in half, and then just grab a spoon and then scoop out the seeds that way. So as far as these peppers go, by the way, let's say you don't want ultimate spicy, you don't want jalapeno spicy, but you want a little bit of extra something, get a Cubanelle pepper. Seriously, that's what I love about chili, is it's so forgiving. You can experiment, you can get creative, you can go to the grocery store and pick up a pepper that you maybe haven't ever heard of before. And you can throw it in and discover something wonderful. This allows you to be the artiste. Pick your own colors. Then we're just gonna peel our onions using our little paper plate trick again, sliding the peeling off. We're just dicing our onions. All right, so our next step is we're going to saute our ground meat with our minced garlic in a saucepan. Today I have ground bison because the organic kind was on sale, so I went for it. But you can also use ground turkey, you can also use ground beef. The main thing is to buy as organic as your budget will allow. So no hormones, no antibiotics. If you can go even the next step and get full-fledged organic, fabulous, okay? After you put your meat in there, you can't just leave it as big slabs. You have to kind of take a spatula and break it up on medium-low. And once we've gotten it partially broken up, we're gonna add in our garlic. And then we're just gonna continue to kind of slice it up and make sure it's nice and crumbly. This is my stove cam, by the way. Like the special effects. So you're just gonna wanna keep, flipping it over and breaking it up until it's all nice and brown. Once the meat is browned, you're just going to want to drain the fat. And the easiest way to do this is to grab a pot lid and then get a can out of your recycling bin. That's what I usually do. Let's do this left-handed, look at me. So you just kind of tilt it and it just kind of drains the fat that way. And this is what I love about bison though. You can see there's not a lot of fat to drain. Now the reason you want to do it in a can and not in your sink is because this could clog your pipes. We don't want that. So you can just pop this little baby in the freezer and then it'll harden and then you just toss it in the trash. So now what we're going to do is we're going to take a big old soup pot and we're going to put our diced onions in, add just a little bit of olive oil, and we're going to saute these onions with our green peppers and our diced jalapenos. We're just going to saute those on medium-low. So once all of our veggies are a little bit soft, about 3 minutes later, not completely soft, just a little bit soft, we're going to add in our ground meat. Now we're going to add some canned diced tomatoes. Now these are fire roasted and already have green chilies in them, which means we saved a step. Fabulous. You can add your own green chilies in afterward if they don't have these at your grocery store. So just add this in. You can see after adding about 4 cans of our diced tomatoes, it's really starting to get that chili look and feel. And I like adding the diced tomatoes as opposed to tomato sauce because it's just going to have less sugar in them. It's diced tomatoes. It's the real thing. It's not a bunch of chemicals and sugar in a jar that's watered down and syrupy. This is full of vegetables and real food, and you're gonna feel awesome when you eat it. Oh my gosh, you should smell this. And we haven't even added the spices yet. Now for our spices. What we're going to do is 2 tablespoons chili powder, 2 tablespoons cumin, 1 tablespoon cayenne pepper, 1 to 2 tablespoons of red pepper flakes. We all know how much we love those. I'm gonna go more on the 2 tablespoon side. And then the special part is we're going to add some ground cinnamon. Yeah, just like a teaspoon, because there's some sort of magic that happens when you combine cinnamon with chili. I can't explain it, just trust me on this, okay? Now we're gonna add about a 1/2 cup of red wine. Once this comes to a boil, we're going to put the top on and lower to a simmer and leave it on there for as long as you can take it. If you're hungry now, feel free to dig in. If you have some spare time and some patience, if you let it simmer a little more, the flavors are just gonna get even better. It's ready. So all we did was we garnished it with a little shredded cheese and some sliced green onions. Wow. This is coziness in a bowl. You know what that tastes like? The cinnamon just like sparks it. Chili of the goddesses. They're real comfort food. The cinnamon, is a goddess secret. It's gonna be a good night.